Hello, hello, hello. What an exciting episode to be here with Rosa.
Good morning, sweetheart. Good morning.
Good morning,
Leah.
good morning. So lovely to connect. How are you?
Fine, fine, sweetheart. So lovely to connect. Yeah, cool.
Yes, yes,
How are you?
definitely.
How are you?
Good, good, good,
Good.
good. So yeah, Natalie and I spoke with your counterpart, your person in crime, Sander.
Yeah, my
And
star.
then we're like, we have to get Rosa on too. Like,
Of
I want to
course.
hear all about your story because you and Sander had both me and Natalie speaking. So now I want to dive deep into the story of Rosa.
Why not? Of course, sweetheart. Let's dive a bit.
Yeah,
Bloop, bloop.
let's
Blah,
do
blah, bloop, bloop.
let's do a lot of blah blah blooping. Yes. I love
Okay,
it.
cool, sweetheart.
So
So,
yeah, Rosa, I'm
um,
curious, how did you end up speaking about non-duality? Where did this whole apparent process happen?
so sweetheart, you know me, I'm a crazy chick. Before we start, I want to read something. I'm
Yes.
not that much into reading, but this thing I
Yeah.
loved on Facebook sometimes are popping beautiful pictures and stuff, here it's really kind of and
Yes.
this I found beautiful. It's from Anna
Yes.
and it I would just read it. We
Okay.
can say life is like a movie with no director, a dream with no dreamer, but life is nothing you will ever understand. There is no separate person looking at the world. There is nothing, no one outside of this, outside of all that appears. Nothing to know or understand, only this as it is. I love it,
Mm,
Anna.
boom. That was
Oh,
beautiful. Yes.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Oh, that's so direct. Yes.
yeah.
Love
And
it.
this is
Yeah.
here, this in loveness with the simplicity, or let's say with the directness of what is. This speaking, listening, watching, emotions, perceptions, booming aliveness. Just this,
Yes.
just this.
Yes. Just
And
this.
just this. Yeah, sweetheart. This is here the biggest joy to share. And yeah, how did it start? Let me see. I'm not going to do. I just will see what's popping up. Mm,
Whatever memory
yeah,
pops
yeah, yeah.
up, any
Um,
story.
yeah, it was like a very, very happy childhood, parent, sister, skipping countries, Bulgaria, Germany, a bit, so
Yeah.
not that calm, more like then also with playing more intensively sports, tennis, which was also kind of something in a way which you can say which caused stress and joy. The
Mm.
moving from country to country, also with the tennis playing, I was quite young.
Yeah.
Parallel going to school, not being able to participate on every lessons because you have tournaments. All those things in a way came together. Let's make a story out of it now, okay? and
I
then
didn't know you were a professional tennis player,
yeah,
Rosa.
it was indeed
What?
like this, but yeah, and then everything came
Wow.
kind of together,
Yeah.
and there was this the first time like I felt it's too much stress, you're always the new one in the new country. You don't know the language that
Mhm.
much, even though I'm with both languages, Bulgarian and German. It was kind of, and then also you're the new. I always was used to this, being the new one. No one knows you, and this is
Mhm.
this is an underlying stress for the system. You don't notice. And here, I just make a
Yes.
story now out of it. And here, there is a
Mhm.
point. This character is very sensitive. There is a
Mhm.
point where it's enough. It's done. And then you can simply not go, it's kind of a protective mechanism playing out. And I simply
Yes.
lost interest in playing tennis. And even though it was beautiful, the tournaments, the competitions, this was really booming. This was cool. I was very happy. But
Yes.
then also in this young age of 14, 15, it's a kind of age, tricky one. And this is the time normally where the puberty goes, and friends, and this was totally skipped in a way. Yeah, full on
Yeah.
tennis and blah. And here this body was rebelling. Everything was rebelling. And I simply
Yeah.
said, sorry, my sweet parents, I don't want to do this anymore. And I felt very guilty because everything was
Oh.
invested in this in a way. And this is here, I would say, kind of the thing. I felt really guilty. And this was unbearable in a way. And this happened,
Mm.
not everything is of course automatically playing out. And then an eating disorder came up, and this was maybe the thing to say here. I am not healthy, because to play tennis, to be sportive, to perform, here was the idea, the body is fit, because I just knew this, being fit, of course,
Yes.
And then this
Yeah.
was kind of the thing, what not being any more fit. And that's why this was the excuse for not being able to perform in the worldly life, so to say. So
Mm-hmm.
like being a bit on the rocks, if you like. It was a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
I would just put it like this, no matter what. Okay.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and this was in a way the time where I also saw, of course, what's happening over there with my parents, with business, having money, no money. And I was like, what is this? Because the suffering was great. Panic attacks started, a lot of fear.
Mm.
I did not know what's
Yeah.
happening there. It was like I had
Mm-hmm.
no clue. And also searching help, of course, with a therapist, like a talking therapy. I was very young, like 17. And it was fun.
Mm.
This was the first time I saw that there is such a thing to talk about your emotions, maybe also, and feelings.
Mm.
This was new. I've never was with it.
Yeah.
And also at this time, accidentally, of course, what else? Out of the blue, I was with friends, and a book fell into my lap. He gave me this book, like, Rosa, I think you will
Mhm.
like it. And this was about awareness, mindfulness,
Mm. Yeah.
Tishnatan.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was like in this, what to say, yeah, let's say something was missing. Of course, I was not
Yeah.
like, I could not express it like now, reflecting back, but it was simply uh, low self-esteem, unworthiness, a lot of unworthiness, a
Mhm.
lot of
Yeah.
thinking that you have to be nice, sweet, to be good to your
Mhm.
parents, to everyone, to be
Yes.
nice. This was
Yes.
like the expectation. So you can say
Yeah.
I put the whole pressure on myself, automatically, without
Mm.
asking why are you doing this, there was no such thing.
Right.
and um and
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
and then with this book, I was like starting to read in a few sentences only, and I was like, wow, what is this? So this struck me really. This was boom. This was about um the simplicity of life. Let's put it like this.
Mhm.
If you read it, you will read another thing. You will see it differently. You will feel it differently. If I read it, I read another thing. It depends on the.
Yes.
If I read it now,
Right.
it will be
Yeah.
completely different than then.
Completely different. Yes. It's
So
always
and
new
and, and
each.
this
Yeah.
yeah, and this
Mhm.
was and this was like, oh wow. And this was
Yeah.
kind of the first time I came in touch with life, raw, naked,
Mhm.
but here is the but, which is a two of course already. But in the shape of a teaching, this book was
Mhm.
talking to you, in the shape of just be aware of what is happening, speaking,
Mm-hmm.
sitting, and
Yes.
breathing. So start with the most simple thing. And this was new because I was like a racket, all the times, like skipping,
Yeah.
always on the run, and this was like,
Yeah.
but okay, this was kind of perfect because also because of the eating disorder, I was kind of slim,
Uh-huh.
so this was perfection. Like going
Yeah.
now into this easy, very, very meditative mood.
Uh-huh.
If you like, the whole thing was a whole meditation,
Yeah.
including the panic attacks. So quite crazy, quite controversial thing going on. What I wanted to say, a lot of suffering,
Yeah.
and I must say,
Yeah.
very cool parents on my side, which who
Oh,
simply saw,
good.
okay, let's try with the therapy, and they simply saw that. Of course, the parents want you to get a good education, to perform, to be, safe in life. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, but it
Yes.
was
Yeah.
impossible, and they simply took the whole pressure out of me, and I could do whatever I wanted to do. And this was kind
Mm.
of going to doing Tai Chi, jazz dance,
Oh,
singing, dancing, like just doing things which I like. And I saw,
yes.
and by playing with those things, I saw, wow, nothing is going to satisfy me. Nothing. Now I can choose like a princess.
Rosa.
I can choose like a princess what to do. And such beautiful things. And with Tai Chi, something happened.
Mm-hmm.
Tai Chi is in a way meditation and movement. Like
Yes.
just
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
This simple,
Mm-hmm.
And this
Mm-hmm.
was again being in touch with simplicity you know
Mm.
and I saw,
Yes.
okay, so this kind of kissed me on and on the whole life through,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the idea after a couple of years. I had the idea, well, Rosa, you have simply to live a normal life, and then the problems will go. Look at the other
Mm-hmm.
people. In a way, they're managing normal life, partners, family, children, jobs. So what's wrong
Mm-hmm.
with you?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Just try now to live normally. But I wasn't even able to eat normally. So where to start? This was so everything was kind of did not make any sense. And
Yeah.
and yeah, and with all those ideas you were having, the pressure, the comparing, uh,
Yes.
the pressure was the suffering was all the time there. The lack, the sense of lack, something is missing. No matter what I do,
Mm.
no matter what I try, when I'm giving my best. Okay, blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
Very early, I was always on my own. I
Mm-hmm.
did everything like on my own, and
Yeah.
this played out, I don't know, yeah, having a job, having a partner, even becoming a mommy, and then in a way, everything came together.
Mm-hmm.
You can say on any level, you were kind of ooh, and this thing, how was it? Maybe let's say there was a crack in the shelf, in the egg,
Mm-hmm.
so that
Mm-hmm.
I was open for I was really seeking for a relief. And I can remember
Yeah.
YouTube. My friend said, Rosa, there is YouTube. There is a lot of stuff now going on there. I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. And you can
Okay.
simply
Yeah.
watch it. And I was, of course, with this awareness. And um, and then with my mother, she was ill, about to die, and she was open in this stage. She was simply open,
Mm.
and she said to me, Rosa, look, there is a guy on YouTube. And this was a guy from American one. And
Uh-huh.
when I saw him and he started to talk, there was an
Yeah.
I just
Mm.
feel, and my
Mm.
mother said, yeah, when she's seeing this too. And the guy was
Ah,
actually saying the thing, what he said was, this is Zamapan. His name is Zamapan. It's an US
okay.
taxi driver. I don't know what, now in Germany. And
Oh
I've
my.
never, until now, I've never been to a meeting, a live meeting from whatsoever. But this was in a way
Yeah.
the thing again, being kissed by simplicity of life. Like the
Yeah.
people here, I had no clue what satsang means and all those spiritual things. I've never been into this, you know. And for me, it was
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Just listening to this, well, it is what it is. And he was like, when the people came and expressed their sorrow, it was like, yeah, what's wrong with this? Well, yeah, it's pain.
Yeah.
It's full-on
Yeah.
pain. And this was
Yeah.
completely new to hear this, you know?
Ah.
I noticed, okay, I noticed, you know what the funny thing is? I was saying, the funny thing was, there is an apparent YouTube algorithm. And if you're always like watching Eckhart Tolle, Rupert Spira, Francis Lucille, they're going to suggest you kind of the same
The
stuff.
same.
And
Yeah.
it's new for you, and you maybe check it. And at this time, I had no clue, and everything was in German. And this guy was talking in English. I love English, by the way. I knew a little bit, but and less or more. Of course, a little bit because of the sport with the tournaments. I was kind of into it. I loved
Okay.
English,
Yeah.
and this guy was simultaneously translated in German. So it was a cool praxis. Hearing the English translation in German, and I simply watched him a bit and was fascinated by the sets. Yeah, this is okay. But, and then popped up on the YouTube algorithm a guy, and he is still performing in German, very radically saying, it is what it is. What's wrong
Mm-hmm.
with your emotions? And in a way very straight into the core. And parallel to this, he was saying the radical non-dual message, which says there's already no one. This is perfection already for no one. This is whole and complete. But this guy turned into a spiritual teacher. So you had both simultaneously. So
Yes.
it's perfection. So you resonate exactly with the right music channel, which is now to be heard. And this was in a way the teaching channel. There was the need to be taught. You needed an authority
Mm-hmm.
who knows better, even though the
Yes.
authority says, I don't know anything, and there is no authority here, you know.
Yeah.
This was seeing this guy. This was like seeing myself. This was maybe a glimpse, you can say. The only glimpse
Mm-hmm.
I can remember, or maybe there were a couple of, but I forgot. But this was like really
Yes.
like now, here sitting with you, seeing myself. And not like the shape of Rosa. No, not this, not this. It was like no separation at all. And
Yes.
this with the no separation I had when I was younger with Tishnatan too. This is also this
Mhm.
interbe. He called it interbe. But this was another thing here. This was really like also explaining. But for me, it was not interesting to understand this. The vibe was interesting. The vibration,
Yes.
the energy. This was interesting. And this
Yes.
and the thing which I liked the most was to play with these emotions because it's not fun with panic attacks, believe me. It's
No, not at
fucking
all.
not at all. And this
No.
was like so, and he kind of helped me to simply make the experience, I call it therapy. I call it the ultimate therapy, to make the experience to just be with whatever is popping up, fear, anger, whatsoever. And I
Yes.
played with this the whole time. It was not fun. It was not nice. It was,
No.
and a lot of shit came up, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
crying. And at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, seeing the emptiness and all this, making the experience, wow, what a beauty. What a beauty, you know? And this happened so
Yeah.
innocently. And then I know, yeah, and Emerson, my beloved Emily, popped
Yes.
up because he did an interview with this guy. It was
Oh,
long,
okay.
long ago when
Ah,
Line was interviewing, you know? Line was
yeah.
interviewing everything which was with nothing. When there is something
Yes.
with nothing, he just got it.
Yes.
And he did an interview, and I was just thought, oh wow, you already did an interview in English, you know, because I simply thought he can perform in English too, because it was so beautiful. I want to kind of, you know,
Yeah.
to more people to
Yeah.
see this because it's so beautiful. My heart was
Yes.
bursting for this message, you know, for this no
Oh,
separation, perfection already from the very
yes.
beginning. But it was kind of, you see, this was like a message for the me, sweet thing for the me, like with Rupert Spira, Francis Lucille, Eckhart Tolle, you know, all those, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you can
Mm-hmm.
do something. You can do something. And this thing,
Yes.
and this thing may simply collapse.
Mm.
So, and this happened
Yes.
in a way, but very slightly, very gradually. I was then
Mm-hmm.
discovering, so through Emmy, I saw, oh wow,
Mm-hmm.
Emmy started at this time to perform. This was
Yeah.
the time when he started to talk. And I was happy that I could understand enough English to follow. But some of the
Mm.
speakers, like I discovered Jim Newman, I discovered Tony Parsons, and Kenneth. For example, Kenneth, Ariana Reflects was there. And I loved this childlike booming thing there in the character. And
Yes.
she was the first English speaking one I got in touch with. And
Um,
she was like seeing me, that I was like totally booming with this thing called also everything is consciousness, you know? I mean, okay, you can call
mhm.
it everything is bubblegum or consciousness or just this, it's the
Right.
same. But
Yes.
Ariana was like freaking out, you know and she was like, no, Rosa, there is no one already, you know? And she was, and then she kind of said to me, look at Kenneth, do you know Nancy Niederkert? She said, and I was like, and she just gave me those, and from
Yeah.
Nancy was already too much. I could not hear Nancy, you know, because I was,
Ah,
you know, and
okay.
now Nancy is just boom. It's the
Mm-hmm.
loveliest music you can hear, you know. And but at this time there was this, you know, yeah,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I was more and more into those English beautiful speakers, like the non-duality buffet. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
when you put it like this, and just
Mm-hmm.
noticing like the contrast. Ah, yeah, okay, you know, um, mm, you know, oh yeah, there is no one. Oh, what does it mean? There is no one and there is one. You know, just playing with all those ideas, and you know, and always
Yes.
being left with the feeling, but because when you're kind playing like the observer,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a very, very beautiful thing to do. It kind of eases the story a lot. How is it called? To make the story better directly. If you beam yourself out of the whole shit, so
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, you know, you're kind of on a safe place. There is a landing
Mm-hmm.
place, like
Mm-hmm.
watching everything is the
Mm-hmm.
consciousness. And but this, you see, is the total separation, the total
Mm-hmm.
separation. And the thing
Yes.
here, the drive which rolls ahead because of this guy, he like his teaching was like beaming out. But for me, it was easy. I was doing this all the time already. This was like my
Mm-hmm.
nature. That's why also.
Mm-hmm.
And then the message was, what is wrong with what is? What is are all those
Mm-hmm.
fucking emotions. And I tried to
Yes.
just
Yeah.
boom, 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 the whole time, like going into this, you know, booming into
Yeah.
them, relaxing, and call it what you want, you know. And this was in a way the
Mm-hmm.
therapy, and I loved it. I loved it. And
Mm-hmm.
this a lot came up,
Yes.
and then the resonance was only with the radical stuff. For example, with I
Mm-hmm.
resonated a lot with, here's a German lady performing Claudia Fulkov. She's like Jim Newman, like with Jim
Oh,
Newman
okay.
too, and
Yeah.
Kenneth, Ariana, Emerson, and then with Emerson more and more and more, and then Emmy stayed. I just was in a way only watching him, only watching
Yeah.
after work, and when there was a slide. Okay, the message was, it is what it is, just this, and I loved it. just this, no matter what is popping up. And very, very radical. So I was going into this very radical because the suffering was also
Yes.
huge. And
Okay.
when there was a doubt, I just
Mhm.
simply put on a YouTube video of Emmy, just this, because the guy there, the vibe of Emmy is so cool. He
Mhm.
is laughing.
Yeah.
He is like, come on, who cares,
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
and this is exactly the vibe, This was my music. This was my fucking
Yes.
music. And I simply, you can say now, followed my highest excitement and put
Mhm.
it on the radio. I just put Emmy on and on and on.
Mhm.
And then of course the performing in daily life with everything, with child, with business, with job, everything, there are a lot of triggers. So I had
Yes.
enough
Yes.
playground to boom into, to bang my head against everything. And then in a way, yeah, what happened then? I started to talk.
Okay.
A German. I connected with a German guy. He's also quite radical, Sven Sein called. I also had a talk with him and Sandra. And he's
Mhm.
performing in German, and we just chatted without recording. He was like, "Oh, Rosa, you have to do a talk with." He had a girl, and
Mhm.
this was my first talk in a way. She interviewed me, and I was like,
Oh,
"Wow, but why? There is nothing to say in a way. It's what it is."
yeah.
And I simply saw how I was booming out so intense. I was like shocked. I was shocked. The I always love to talk about the simplicity of life, but now it was like different. This was just life. Rosa wasn't of any interest anymore. There was still a Rosa, but it was seen that this is it too. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
ideas simply did not matter. And
Mm.
yeah, it played out as it played out. I connected with a lot of characters doing interviews, posting, and then
Mhm.
seeing on Facebook some quotes of conscious being. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I'm not that into Facebook and reading. It did that simple because this in loveness with simplicity. And there he was under called Conscious
Mhm.
Being. I was reading,
Mhm.
directly taking the handy, blah, blah, Xander. Would you love to do a talk with us in the channel, blah, blah? And he was like, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. And I was like, yeah. And this was actually the first guest. And
Oh.
this was directly here, total resonance. Total
Oh.
resonance. And Xander, you know him also. He is like
Mhm.
open wide. This is unbelievable. It's just
Yes.
unbelievable. I cannot put it into words. And what happened? What happened? I asked him in the interview, yeah, you probably have also a YouTube channel. He was like, no. I was like, what?
You're like, you need
No.
one?
Excuse me. What do you say?
No, I said you were like, oh, well, you need one. You
I
don't
was
have
like, I
one,
was
you
like,
need one.
yeah, because I saw that he has a lot of stuff on Facebook, post,
Yeah.
and that's why it's very normal. And he was like, no, no, and I was like, okay, you need one. This will be, and then on the next day, he boomed out, or maybe 2 days later, here it is, a video. I was like, wow, I just, and this was like, if I would make videos, it would be like this. And
Yeah.
this was such a match, if you like. And then
Yeah.
we simply stay in touch. And
Hmm.
we simply continued doing talks in a way, what I started. And
Yes.
and I did not resonate anymore with the other players, let's say, like this. This was like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's why I simply said goodbye. And Xander started his channel and said, Rosa,
Hmm.
open also one. I was like, no, no, it's enough. You're doing so beautiful videos. And then
Yeah.
Line, I love you. She also said, do it and open and channel and talk. And I was like, very busy with work and everything, but yeah, but this
Hmm.
happened too, just for fun.
Hmm.
Opened this
Hmm.
boom channel, and
Hmm.
yeah, and now we are kind of talking about this, expressing, And I'm
Yeah.
really like, yeah, this is so naturally, so effortless. So
Yeah.
this is like following my highest excitement. No one is doing this. This is just life booming.
Mhm.
And there is really
Beautiful.
no one in it who has any choice, and this is just naturally happening. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. That's
Oh, sure. I
stunning.
love it. You see me, I
Yeah.
love blubbering and sharing.
And so now you have a podcast and you speak with Sander and you do on your own as well. And then you have open meetings with people who ask questions. So you have a lot going on there. It's beautiful.
Well, now it's like Xander
Mhm.
is doing those beautiful videos. And
Mhm.
I asked him in the beginning, I would love to post them too, because I did not know if I
Yeah.
have time to do also what is coming out here. And he was like,
Mhm.
yeah, sure, do it. So we are both posting his videos. And
Aw,
and this
yeah.
is just like, it's there is no feeling that these videos belong to someone. This is just life
Right.
booming. And
Yeah.
by putting them out, sharing them, this is such a
Yeah.
joy, indescribable, indescribable. And when there is more time here, I just noticed that there is also ideas, impulses coming, arising. And we are also so
Yeah.
the characters Xander and Rosa kind of fit good together, and this is
Definitely.
also funny. And
Yeah.
yeah, and doing
I
the
love how you play off of each other. It's so perfect,
it's
really.
like but no one is doing this, it just happens, this is
Right.
such
Just
it's such a
naturally
yeah. and i
expressing.
mean and i
Yeah.
mean what are you talking about? Everything is it, this is booming life, but here you see
Yes.
we connect with characters talking, and this
Yes.
is so
And we're
beautiful.
just blah, blah, blah about
Yeah,
nothing. But isn't it incredible how we can make sense of words, yet
totally,
nobody's doing it?
totally,
And we're just two birds chirping in the wind about
totally.
nothing. And it's just,
And it's so
you
beautiful.
know, it's so beautiful, right? Because if you think about this, Rosa, everywhere you look, you're inundated with people saying, buy my course, be this way. Um, you have to dissect your emotions to find out why, what trauma, what this, like really boxing things in to this whole sense of knowing. And it's like, be this way, look this way, conform this way. And to just have a message saying, yeah, that's just what's simply arising, and there's nothing behind it. It's just innocently this. I mean, it's just like you can go, I don't have to put on an image or be a specific way, show up a way, and it's so lovely within the community, people like you and Sender and people I've spoke with. There's no expectations in
I
one.
was, by the way, sweetheart, I was so
Yes.
happy when I saw that there are speakers about the simplicity. I call it simplicity of life because
Mhm.
I really had the whole time the idea that I am responsible for my life. And then when I saw
Yes.
this guy talking, which
Yeah.
I resonated so, I was so
Yeah.
happy. And I thought it's the only one in the world talking about this, you know? And then and
Yeah.
then I discovered even something which is not talking to you. It's not seeing you. It's not about you. And
Mhm.
this was like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, this was a total in
Mhm.
loveness. Of course, it was kind of here. The mind is playing like, oh, whoa, wait. What does it mean nothing is happening? Because here it's always like booming everything, So
Mhm.
for this character to check out what is nothing, and then also
Mhm.
to when you hear these expressions like this is an illusion, nothing is
Mhm.
happening, um,
Mhm.
it's not real and real. You simply try to
Mhm.
understand, of course, and then this understanding, the need to understand may drop very naturally.
Yes.
And this was such
Mhm.
a beautiful dance. And you see, like there is no one choosing which music to hear. It's just the
Yes.
radio playing, and you're like, oh yeah, this
Yes.
is like, oh no, go away, Like this is so, it's such a perfection, So
Yeah.
for me, life is just a symphony, a perfection in action, and
Oh,
it's
I
it's
love that.
it's like screaming the whole time. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
No matter
Yes.
what, but I really mean no matter what. There is nothing excluded. It
Mhm.
can be pain in the ass. It can be
That's it.
really,
Yes.
really, really,
Yeah.
and this is of course overheard
Hmm.
because um of course, if you hear this and feel like, oh wow, this is so cool, you think like,
Hmm.
okay, this is like the perfection for me, and it's so
Yes.
beautiful when the meat drops and then it's perfect. Well, no,
Hmm.
it's raw, naked, full on aliveness,
Yes.
what it is.
Full on emotions. More intense,
More
I would
intense.
say. More
Filterless,
intense.
no filter, and
Yes.
very intense, very intense. Yeah.
Yeah. So when people say, I really want this, it's like, well, if you can't feel through the emotions, this is intensity right here. But it's not claimed as my intensity. It's intensity with everything that's arising, fully
There's simply
felt.
no middleman. There's just life.
Yeah, it's
There
just
is
life.
just full on what is, full
Yeah.
on talking, full on thinking, full on,
Hmm.
I don't know, whatsoever is popping up, all those sensations we have, everything, And
Hmm.
this is the wow, this is the boom. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's unbelievable in a way, And it is so simple, it's so ordinary. It's so ordinary.
Yes, that it gets obscured, that people don't see it because it's everywhere, everything arising, like you can't miss it. And yet
They're
it
not
goes
seeing it, Leah. They're not seeing it. The wailing is this already. So
right.
there is no
There's
missing of
no
this
one to
already.
see it.
There
So
is
it doesn't matter in a
yeah,
sense.
there is no
Yeah.
Rosa who was
Yeah.
missing it the whole time and now
Yes.
seeing it. This was
Yes.
always this booming aliveness. And
Always.
this is
Yes.
simply now,
Yeah.
yeah, how to say, it is as it is, always, always.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
here is no
Yeah.
speaking about this. But before I also spoke about this. They sounded differently. It sounds simply differently,
Yeah.
But it was the
Yeah.
same intensity. And my
It
parents
was.
were like, when I was like younger, they were, I don't know what you want to say because I was booming, Friends of mine were saying,
Ah,
even the suffering was there so much that I was like
yes.
shining the whole time. And they were like, what are you taking? What kind of drugs are you taking? I was like, no, no drugs, just this. But at
Like,
the same,
Mom, I'm not on drugs.
yeah, this was always like, so that there really nothing changed. But
Yeah.
here now it's in a way really like simply no Rosa in life anymore.
Yeah. Life not
Booming.
depending on a Rosa for anything. It's insignificant. That me.
Or
And
you
yet to,
can, of course, also say full on only Rosa, just Rosa. Also no
you could
problem
say
with
that
this.
too.
Because
Yes.
when that is
Yes.
not two. It's just
Mm-hmm.
one, and there is simply no
Mm-hmm.
problem with this. If it's just
Mm-hmm.
one, no matter what you call it, full
Mm-hmm.
on personality, or only full on consciousness, or full on
Yeah.
bubblegum, boundless
Yeah.
energy.
It it doesn't matter if someone sees this or not because it's already it. And so it's just being whatever's being in that moment. Yes.
It's so direct. And
Yeah.
okay, we can say also like this drive to know something, to get it, to understand, seeking
Yes.
energy,
Mhm.
or like to
Yeah.
watch one YouTube after another. This is simply
Yes.
gone. It's gone.
That, yeah.
And
Yeah.
there is no question here, no matter what. Um,
Hmm.
in this directness, and as I said, Zander is like listening to his stuff there, it was just like, oh my gosh. So the rest was done there. I just needed
Yeah.
a couple of things, it was like
It
done
was done. It was done. Yeah.
for no one. It was done for no one.
Yeah. Yeah. And the beautiful thing about this message, that I want to reiterate is that it doesn't depend on a me to be it. So in a sense, that the me is insignificant. And I think when you speak with a lot of people, they grasp onto, I'm important, I'm special, I'm going through this life. This is my life, I've got to get it right.
Yeah.
And the compassion in this message is there's no you to get it right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. It's just how it's appearing to be.
Yeah.
The yeah.
Yeah, and loving this message or hating this message is this already. You know,
Mhm.
there is no space for mistake. Let's say it like this.
Yeah.
It's perfection. I come back to this perfection, but for no one. You know,
Yes.
this thing is just
Yes.
playing out beautifully, innocently, and
Yeah.
so like resonating with a spiritual teacher or a teacher whatsoever, um,
Hmm.
is perfection already. It's
Yes.
this already. There is no,
Yeah.
nothing wrong. So there is no difference in being dedicated, devoted, I don't know what, you know, and and uh,
Yes.
and doing the mantras, the practice,
That's
everything. Like
yeah.
there is no
Yes.
religion, believing
All that.
whatsoever.
All
There is
that.
really no
Yes.
difference in like
Yes.
resonating with this radical message. It's
Hmm.
always this, no matter
Always
what,
this.
no matter
Which
what.
is nice too, Rosa, because there's no more point to prove. Like arguing with people that, oh, no, you can't do that. And none of that anymore, right? Yeah,
It's
it's so relaxed, like everything can be
yeah,
as is.
yeah, and
Yeah,
nevertheless, talking is happening about this. You know, but I mean, it's impossible in
yeah.
a way because everything is it. So every word is it already,
Hmm.
and nothing. You can simply we just can simply be still now. It's
Yeah,
this beauty. So there is
yeah,
no need to say anything. It's
yeah.
and this is so beautiful when there are questions, automatically there is a response. But the
Mhm.
question is it already? The very question
Yes.
is it already, you know? In this direction,
Yes.
this is so, so
Mhm.
beautiful. This is so funny. I love it. I love it. And I also
Yes.
noticed here with the channel, I really
Mhm.
enjoy it. And I really enjoy connecting with people. And
Yeah,
yeah, maybe to say also here, when there is an impulse or drive, feel free to connect for no reason,
definitely.
just for a chat. And because this is so beautiful, you know, this is this
Yes.
for no reason. Yeah, for no reason. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So beautiful, Rosa. Thank you for all the sharing. I mean, that's a
Yeah, I love
stunning
it.
story and
Well, I
pointy,
don't know.
quite rapid.
It's just blah blah, but yeah, we love
It's a blah
stories.
blah, but it's also a boom
Do you
boom.
do you wanna do you yeah do you wanna also share a bit, sweetheart? Like, is there
Well,
something?
what to
Would,
share? Um, I resonate a lot with your story. With mine, there was a tremendous suffering, but it was interesting because as a child, I was very contracted and quiet and didn't express emotion, didn't feel comfortable or safe expressing emotion. So it was
mm,
very contracting. And then a couple years ago, I had the Kundalini awakening, and it was full on suffering, bringing up all the feelings and emotions that had been repressed for a lifetime. And then moving through that, I came across the non-dual message, and it was a full on, oh, this is like, this is it. Like, really. And I came across Emerson too, like you.
yeah, I saw you the
And
first time there. You were booming
oh,
out, and I saw you there the first time. Yeah,
just speaking with him was just a blessing. It was just like for him to say, it's done. This
yeah,
is it already, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Um, and then yeah, so it appears to be a process in the storyline of Leah, yet it's seen that it never was a process. It was this all the time. But we get into storylines because that's what we work with, that's what we have. So we speak in story, but in the same regard, it's seen that this is always fresh, new.
Sweetheart, here we speak in
Yeah.
stories. That's all what we have. This very expression, this
Mm-hmm.
very sound
Mm-hmm.
is this already. You see?
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
very and
Mm-hmm.
giving the words a meaning is this already. And giving
Yeah.
it no meaning, like blah blah blah. Maybe you speak in another language now to me. Is this already?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what I want to point out is simply there is no need to understand anything. Anything. It's this already because of this, storyline. There's an apparent. What is very obvious here, when this is seen by no one, the need to understand drops because it's
Mm-hmm.
really not about understanding. It's there the whole time,
Yeah.
like those
Yeah.
little children.
But what
Uh,
I'm saying is, even us speaking now is a story. It's always a storyline. You can never get out. Like self cannot get out of self. It's a self-referential loop.
but
So it's
even this,
always arising.
but even this, sweetheart, saying it's a story. Who knows this is a story? Who can say this is a
Nobody.
story? It's just,
Mm.
it's just like words expressing. There are memories, there are ideas, there are
Well, you can
thoughts.
call memories stories,
Yeah, you can
because
call it what you want,
you
of
can't
course.
escape it. You can't escape speaking or going into memory or thoughts of the past to communicate, which to me is what I call a story, is going into the past.
Yeah,
Because where is it now? It's always fresh, new, and uniquely new each moment, perceived moment. And yet we speak in these kind of patterns and cyclical stories of
but
memories that arise.
yeah, and as you said, this is already booming free. No matter going into a memory is booming new, brand new. This is
Yeah,
not an old thing.
yeah,
This is
that's
now
what I'm
full
saying.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm saying the word story. Maybe you don't like the word story. I don't know.
No,
But
I
it's like,
just was just like, no, 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 it's beautiful. I love stories, of course, but for me, the
yeah,
story is not like something, it's for me, it's fresh and new. You know what I mean with the story? Even the word story is booming this already.
yeah,
The idea that we are talking about something which is in the past. What is past? There is no time. It's just this.
right.
And this is like, yeah, and
Yeah,
this is like, wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think
yeah.
we're saying the same thing,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
maybe,
yeah, yeah. We
yeah.
are, we are, we are, we are.
Okay.
This just
Okay.
simply popped up. And what about Leah with after Emerson, you
Uh-huh.
with this channel now with Natalie?
Yeah.
What's going on there? Also
Yeah.
talking
So we're just interviewing all sorts of interesting people like yourself. And
like myself. Ooh.
yeah.
Me,
And
myself, and I.
there you go. And it's amazing to connect with so many different expressions of this. It's like different flavors, or like what you said, different music tones.
Yeah,
It's just,
lovely. It's wow.
yeah, yeah, it's wow. And
Yeah.
it's neat to have other people that express this. Like you feel a closeness and a connection when you hear this in another expression. Even though all are speaking this, it's still, when it's uniquely expressed and condensed into this form of communication, there's a big resonance, and that's beautiful.
This is a big party. I call it.
It
It's just party
is.
feeling, yeah.
Ah,
Because I was so
yeah,
happy when
yeah,
I saw that also there are also others talking about this.
yeah,
Wow, because I really
yeah,
thought this is something which, I don't know. Yeah, what
yeah.
a beauty, sweetheart.
So
Yeah.
beautiful. Oh, and we'll have to connect again with Natalie. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it, but we'll do another one. I would
Okay,
look forward
cool.
to diving more further with you. Yeah.
Thank you, sweetheart, for chatting. And
Yeah.
yeah, let's stay in touch and see if you have impulses, let me
Yeah.
know. And
Definitely.
okay, cool. Great, sweetheart. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosa.
Thank
Love meeting
you. I love you.
you.
I wish you a beautiful day.
Mwah, mwah. Thank
And
you. You
uh,
too.
and I wish me good night.
Good night. Sleep well. Mwah.
Mwah.
Love